Hello and welcome at my tutorial about how to use SpaltExporter. This add-on I made recently, so it's for exporting your model basically, and so you can turn it into 3D splat. If you don't know what a 3D splat is, you can see it at the end of the video. But for the splat you need multiple angles, multiple renders, and camera position and everything what real camera gives you, but not the virtual camera basically. And the reason why to use it instead of, for instance, Sketchfab, it's not that detailed usually. It depends on power of your computer and how many iterations you add there. But it can work with the transparency. It can work with the reflections. So it's because those are renders, it's baked into the it's kind of baked into the model, into the splat. It's baked camera based lights and changes in colors, so it's look like it's still ray traced if you ray traced every single frame. The problem is, you need, if you want to ray trace, I personally use most of the time Eevee. You will see how it works, but you can use cycles too. It's up to you, but you will end more minutes than with the Eevee. Well, how it works? You open nPanel and you find this Colmap because it's based on Colmap exports, which you can load in a Litchfield Studio. I'm using older Litchfield Studio because it's free. And now you can choose between my language of my country or English. I take it usually you will use English, but it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't matter. So you have target object on which camera will look. Kitty. I add their source mesh because sometimes it happens that if the model has multiple parts, the add-on automatically choose what part of the model will be point clouds made of. But I usually want the biggest part of the model to have point clouds, so the biggest part of the model is most detailed and have some base at least. So I add there separate for source meshing. Now, rings account. It creates rings around the model. I'm planning to make some changes like walls and bendings for splitting, for instance, rooms and this stuff. But until this will be done, now it's only about these objects. So you choose how many rings around the objects you want. I personally use 4. How many cams per rings, cameras per rings, per the middle rings you want, because the middle ones usually are wider and needs more cameras, and cams outer, which are the top and the bottom ring. And you can also change radius of the middle ring and a top and bottom ring. You cannot preview this, so the easiest way is just create rings, and you see it's generate cameras, it's generate also collections, and it's made polars. Polars are this top and bottom one. You can change their height, their distance from the object here. So I see this is too near, so I make this radius bigger. This radius usually I want smaller, and it's remade the thing in seconds, so it doesn't matter. Also, you can change height. Usually this number is good to have in some minus value, and then it's do something like this. You see this is too big, and the polar ones are also too near. Now you see I have a ball visions around all projects. You can see how the cameras overlap here, which it doesn't matter, but I think personally that you don't need so many cameras here. So you can lower the number of them. Now you can preview them, but because it's a hell of pain in a Blender, I use for it my other add-on for camera switching, which I'm using for architectonic visualizations. But it's I found out that it's pretty cool to use it for this, for check the view of the cameras. Don't be scared of such close-ups. It's good for details, and if you have too much space around the model, the splat will make big black cloud around it, and you cannot clean it anyway. So it's better to use these close-ups than have the model in, for instance, look like this, because then it became just black after I don't know 15,000 iterations. Usually it's just appeared to be only black, which we don't want, so we will use something like this. Oh, this is too small, a little bigger. Yeah, you can see that this camera switcher is pretty fine for these previews. So we see the add-on, we see the setup looks fine. The model is pretty low res because I use it as a base mesh for stuff. You can see how it looks. It's just some pretty easy shape. For base mesh, it's good to have more polygons, so add there some subdivide. Didn't hurt nothing. I will add there also world with the sky texture on it. So we put there sky texture without the sun disk, and we will see how it looks like. It looks like this, which is fine. I change there the setting of scene. I'm pretty okay with this. I check EV because if we use cycles, it will be hell. It will be long. It will be long render. It's render camera by camera. At once, so it will not crash your blender, but it will be just freeze for I don't know 2-3 minutes. If you use EV, it's usually pretty fast. I usually prefer transparent background, so that's why there is the transparent setting. Then you choose where to save it. I have some Colmap test for this, and there is a resolution. You can also change it in the output setting, but it doesn't matter. You can uncheck a render image and it won't render images. It only make camera angles and point cloud, which can also be useful. And if you don't want to use this dataset, you can only make this batch render. If you, for instance, wanted to use it for studio, like make some more angles pretty fast, you can see this this add-on is pretty fine for it. So I decided to add there also this render button. But I now choose this export dataset. You can see it now kind of freeze. I'm moving with a scroll and nothing happens. So we need to wait a little bit. And now it's done. You can see it makes renders. It makes these text servers with the camera stuff and everything else. So now what we need to do is to open Litchfield. In my opinion, you can also use postshot on anything else, literally. But then you use import dataset or just drag and drop this file. It's make load, and you see point cloud, cameras, renders, which is what you want. You can press start training, and you can see how the splats are made in real time. If you don't move with the camera, you can see if I'm moving with it, stop. But now you can see how the Litchfield start to reconstruct my scene. The the pros for doing this is, as I described before, it's just save colors based on view. based on those cameras. So based on whatever your camera is, you can see reflections from the original scene and stuff like that. So it can make you really realistic view and a really fast overview of your model, which you can add, for instance, as a link into your portfolio or something. Also, you can show that you can do this stuff. But if you don't know how to do splits, beware, you have enough RAM, VRAM on your GPU. You have GPU which is capable of it, and many other stuff. It's more complicated than just one button. It's about to have right hardware for it. Before this gets done, I have some other stuff to say about it. You can see this. I didn't spoke about it. Those polars are those upwards and down cameras. If I uncheck them, they disappear. If I uncheck this ring up and down, disappear the last ring. So if I have, for instance, 8 there, it doesn't matter. But those rings which we can set up their radius here, the outer ones, you can just make them disappear. Or you can have some, for instance, turntable. You have some of environment for your model and you want to present it with that environment. So that's why you can turn off, for instance, the slower ones, because you don't need the polar which is inside of your model, or the environment of your table or under it, because you don't need to actually see this place. So let's go look in the Litchfield. It's in around 50%, and you can see it's already working. You can see there the subsurface scattering works somehow. You can see reflections on the ears. You can see the eyes too. There are still some bugs, but it's just because the training is in 50%. It's just training made by AI. It will be cleaner soon. But that's what this add-on is usually made for. I don't have there the correction for for the angle, but I usually upload it on a super splat website, where you can, for instance, delete some parts of the splat. You can correct this rotation, so I don't care about it, because in the website editor just allows you to repair it in one step, so it's used. But you can see the ray tracing is stored here because it's based on these looks. So more camera you have, the more accurate these reflections will be. And it works even on the mirrors, because it saves, it's angle based, so it saves even what's in the mirror. So it's pretty fine and pretty cool for more higher quality 3D model representation. But on the other hand, you don't see the polygons, so you cannot present, for instance, wireframe. But it's, I think, pretty cool way to show the model. Also, the polars are there because it gives you better showcase of lower and upwards parts, so the overall result looks much better then. But it's all, this is how it works. And it's, again, the export is kinda Colmap data set. It's based on Colmap, so it's supposed to behave like Colmap and supposed to be able to load maybe in other splat trainers, like maybe just at post shot should be able to open it. I didn't try it really, so we can try it. But you see, it works even in a other stuff. But this is what I said. Yeah, it's good to have the cameras pretty near, and I usually work in Litchfield, which don't have this problem at all. So yeah. On the other hand, you still have somewhere here hidden the model. but this can be also masked out. You can render out alpha mask of every frame and then use it as a mask for both of these softwares, so you don't it's solvable problem which doesn't matter. Again, as I said, usually use Litchfield, and you can see there it work fine. But if you have the camera more further, it's just happened. This happened. On the other hand, this is pretty fast. You can see it's pretty fine on 6,000 steps already. But this program is paid, so I use it only for learning the splats making. But the result is difference is seeable. So that's all for this. Thank you for watching. Hope this add-on will be useful for you.